Hello and welcome to Destination Draft Day. I'm Michael Rochman, joined by Nick Durst. We got plenty of jam-packed action for you. For anything NFL draft, NFL talk, college football, we're here for it. And today is a major episode in terms of news and storylines around the NFL. But before we dive into any of it, Nick Durst, how you doing today?
Michael, I'm excited. This is probably going to be our best show of the calendar year so far. I know we have the Super Bowl and stuff, but there's so much for us to talk about here that we're only going to be able to do one blueprint, most likely. We're going to be doing the blueprint right now, though, of Fox Sports, because we had some breaking news, Michael, right before we came on. I wanted to let everybody know, in case they didn't check Twitter yet.
Yeah, so Joe Buck has left Fox Sports. He is going to be heading to ESPN as the face of Monday Night Football. Huge news because not only is Joe Buck a big name for Fox Football, he's also a big name for the World Series and Fox Baseball. He is tremendous. And, I mean, this is pairing up Joe Buck and Troy Aikman over on ESPN for Monday night. But, I mean, this is changing the sports world, not just football, but baseball as well. So, Destination Draft Day, but along the way, we're talking a little MLB too. Nick, I mean, this is crazy for the World Series, for Fox Football. What do you think is the future for Fox when it comes to their new announcers?
Well, I heard Al Michaels available, so I would go get him. I mean, that'd be pretty tremendous. But I think right now, you just promote the number 2 guy, which is Kevin Burkhardt. He's awesome. Huge for him. Kenny Albert's there, of course, he's tremendous. I got to see what to do with baseball, though, because I'm very curious. The thing is with Buck, though, like, he did the All-Star game for baseball. He did the World Series, and he did a good part of the championship series. Other than that, he's not their main baseball guy. So they got plenty of guys there, but, man, ESPN shelling out the money, and we know Sean Payton's probably going to be at Fox, so, Greg Olson's there as well. Right? So I think they're going to bring Sean Payton in, and I would say, just go ahead and get Al Michaels in there.
Yeah, this is definitely something that's going to be extremely interesting just with the change of who's going to be broadcasting these games. But we wish Joe Buck the best now for ESPN. The Monday Night Crew, I feel like people are going to complain regardless of who's announcing a game, but adding Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, that's huge. Do you think this is going to be, competing with the Manning cast, really shutting down the appeal of going to that channel with such a notable broadcast team?
Well, I'll keep my rule, which is if my team's not playing, I'll watch the Manning cast. When my team's playing, I'm going to watch the traditional broadcast because I think it's a little difficult to follow along when you don't have it's a little difficult to follow along when you have a vested interest. That was my take on the Manning cast this season.
Absolutely. And then, there's been plenty of news since Destination Draft Day last aired. We'll start with the simpler ones and then go to the more groundbreaking type of moves. So first and foremost, Aaron Rodgers signs a mega extension with the Green Bay Packers. Seems to be a deal that will probably take him for the rest of his career before he retires, probably retiring a Packer. This was something that you believed would happen. I was kind of on the fence about it. I was more hoping that he would leave just because, it's fun. The NFL did definitely break up and shake up, but, Rodgers stays on the Packers. So first and foremost, what are your thoughts in that regard? Do you think the Packers can run it back, or do you think they're too strapped for cash to ever really be a true contender, even with Rodgers at the helm?
Well, listen, when it comes to Rodgers staying with the Packers, I was all over that one. So I knew that was going to happen because right now, Michael, they are, if they're not the favorites to go to the Super Bowl, they're like co-favorites. It's between them and the Rams. That's it. The NFC is so weak now. Nothing is going to be like, oh my gosh. I would be shocked. And I was shocked this year that they didn't make it. But I'd be shocked if the Packers are not in at least the NFC Championship game. And I think they'll easily get the 1 seed again. Adams is coming back. So now let's see. It goes over to you. This team's not going to be able to improve too much in free agency. What they need to do in the draft. What do you need to do?
I think the big thing is seeing what they can do on the offensive line, trying to kind of restructure that group. Um, Adding some weapons outside of Adams in that offense. Tanyan's going to be a free agent, so they need a tight end. They need some other wide receivers outside of Devontae Adams. Jones and Dillon are going to be great on the ground, but you need to really kind of get this offense to open up. On the defensive side of things, you're probably going to be cutting Zadarius Smith. You're probably going to be cutting, some very talented players and letting some very talented players walk. So you need to find a way to kind of recoup that value, whether you're trading for low bargain contracts or signing low bargain free agents that kind of overperform for their role, or maybe just drafting extremely well. I think there are some great players in this draft that could fill in and maybe start day one that aren't going to be day one picks, maybe even not second round picks, but like Greg Dulcich out of UCLA, if they're able to go and land him in the third, fourth round, I think that's absolutely great value for them. And I think he can potentially be a starting or tight end day one. So there's options out there, but it's really going to be interesting what the Packers do in this situation. They're going to be strapped for cash. They're going to have to find ways to manipulate the cap, but I don't think that means they're ruled out. They still have Aaron Rodgers. They still have Devontae Adams. They still have a very good base for team success, and they should definitely make the playoffs. They should be the favorite when it comes to the NFC North. Will they win the NFC? I don't think so. I believe the Rams are a little bit more talented. I think the 49ers have the potential with Trey Lance to potentially maybe grow into that type of role. I think there's some other teams that could potentially grow into becoming a great team. But, I mean, like you said, the NFC currently is pretty weak, and it got weaker with some other moves that we'll talk about. But really, there is plenty of opportunity for the Packers to kind of just be the best of the remaining teams, because we've seen that with other teams. The Buccaneers were probably going to go back to the Super Bowl, but when you have too many injuries pile up, you can easily lose games that you should have won, and that's why the Rams were able to beat the Buccaneers and ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if you're the Packers, you still got to feel confident about your chances when you have 12 at QB.
Yeah. If I'm Brady, I got to be looking around right now and being like, am I sure I'm done? Because, I mean, now that the Saints, who always beat him the last 2 years, are gone, like the Bucs could win like 14 games this season. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind if Brady played this next year that the Bucs will probably go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
at least 14 wins.
Yeah, I think you gotta. I know Brady is retired and probably saying that he's very happy, but I don't know, man. There's just such an easy nothing's easy in the NFL, but there seems to be a very favorable opportunity to go and get ring number 8